Hi, welcome to V2V podcast. I'm Short or Alexei. Today this is part of the Survivor series. Today we're talking to Survivor Catherine, who went to Monarch Academy. Hi, Catherine.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
Not happy that it's almost Monday, but other than that, really good.
Good. Yeah, I hear you. So first of all, I'd like to sort of ask you to define what TTI is to someone who wouldn't know the troubled teen industry, and sort of give me a rough idea of what your view is of what this is.
Personally, I would define the industry as, the industry contains individually owned programs that kind of run off of deceit and, deceiving the parents, withholding information, and really, really just kind of taking custody away from them of their children. So, what separates places like, I went to the Monarch School in Montana, and what separates a place like that from, your local inpatient in the city is you lose custody. You lose rights to yourself. You don't have basic rights. You are essentially, you are a captive. You don't have a way out. You don't have control over your treatment or yourself. You don't know everything that's going on. And it's not really optional. You're kind of there, you're there. And parents are manipulated. And it's all just, it's based off of kind of taking advantage of parents and telling them, if you don't do this right now or within the next 24 hours, serious things are going to happen to your family.
Right.
And it's just taking advantage of parents who don't know any better and trying to give them a really poor outlook for their child. So that way, when their child meets kind of basic expectations, it can be seen as a miracle, and they're so amazing.
Right.
I'm not a fan. I was at the Monarch School for 13 and a half months following wilderness in Oregon. And, at the start, I didn't really understand what was happening, and I was really upset. And then as time went on, and I kind of figured out, wow, this is not okay. When I have a fall birthday, and I signed myself in when I turned 18, and I was reading this stuff, and I was just shocked that I was literally giving up rights to myself. I signed a section where I gave up rights to appropriate medical care if they didn't feel it was necessary.
Right.
So I disagree with the programs. I think they're unethical. I think they're illegal. Mine was, quote unquote, a behavior modification therapeutic boarding school. It wasn't.
Right.
If the people are saying that, we're literally captives, then that raises some flags as to kind of what's going on and everything.
Right. So tell me a little bit about the first program you were in, the wilderness one, and why you were sent there and who sent you there and how that all happened, if you would. You don't have to frame yourself as a troubled teen at all, because I don't believe in that word. But, whatever you want to frame it as.
Yeah, so I was 16 when we were looking at getting some more help. I will admit I did have some day-to-day challenges. I struggled with depression and anxiety in a condition called trichotillomania and PTSD at that time. And I was at the point where, I literally looked my therapist in the eye and I told her I want to die. And I did have some problems, and I know I did need a little bit more help. So I go on, good old Google, and I do my research, and I present what I wanted to do to my parents. I lived with my mom, and it was this 30-day thing in North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina, and I told her, this is what I want to do. I think this is going to be helpful, and why? Well, she gets referred to an ed consultant who tells her that I need to go to Evoke, Oregon, it was second nature, but became Evoke while I was there. So,
Would you mind giving the name of that ed consultant?
oh my goodness. I think it was Beth something. I don't know. I can find out, but I don't know.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Keep going. Sorry.
Good. So she told my parents, they are very, very divorced, but they decided to band together for me on this one.
Okay.
So they make the decision to send me there. So I was sent away on January 2nd of 2016, and my dad flew me out to Oregon. So I did Evoke Oregon, up in the high desert by like Redmond and Bend, and I was out there for 69 days. And you know, while I admit I did need extra help because I really was struggling every day, you know, I really did have a lot of problems just doing basic things.
Yeah.
Did not need that. That was extreme. And I actually have all of my letters from when I was out there. I have all of them that I wrote and that I received. And I was a completely different person. Like, I used program talk all the time, and I wasn't me. But
Yeah.
while we were out there, it was January in the high desert in the PNW, and let me tell you, it was like -10 the night that I was brought out there.
Ugh.
And as a Southerner, I had never seen 8 feet of snow. And it was awful. I mean, that first night, I just cried and I was screaming, and I just couldn't understand what was happening.
Yeah.
We had a therapist come out once a week. Her name was Sabrina Dexter. No, I'm sorry. Her dog's name was Dexter.
Okay.
Her name was Sabrina. I forget her
Okay.
last name. But she owns like a private practice out in Oregon, like in Bend or Redmond. But she would come out once a week. And it was just, it was kind of ridiculous. Like, you know, there's so much focus on how everything that's happened before is making you act this way now, and it's all your fault, and, you know, you're choosing to act like this, and you need to stop. Bad things are going to happen if you don't believe in this.
Right.
I have trichotillomania, and it's a hair pulling disorder. A lot of lay people who don't really have experience in psychology think it is a form of self-harm or addiction, and it's not. It just is. It's a thing that we don't really understand. But I was told that if I did not do the 12-step program, I would die.
Right.
So I mean, it's just stuff like that all the time.
So can I ask you to tell me, like, what an average day would be like at this wilderness place? Like,
So,
what?
we weren't allowed to know the time or the date because
Okay.
we were supposed to focus on the here and now, and that was really wacky, like not knowing. So we would wake up whenever they told us to get up.
Okay.
And at that point, they would either tell us, you need to pack up your shelter and your pack because we're going to be hiking to a new site today, or they would tell us just to go to the campfire for breakfast.
Okay.
So let's say we're staying there. So we go to the campfire, and we would actually have to bust our own fire, which I have done. I did it 5 times, and it's really freaking hard. But
Yeah.
we would do that. If we weren't able to light one, then we just didn't get one. And it's really cold out there. So there were some rough days without that fire. So we had our bear bags in the tree, and we would go get it. And we'd come back and, you know, eat whatever. We do meds, all this stuff. And then after that, we might have mandatory fun time, or we'd have our therapist there that day, or we would do activities. Like, I remember probably in, like, week 3, I made my busting kit. So our morning activity was going to find the perfect branch.
Right.
Edgy, fun. But then we do that, whatever. And then lunch, go through that whole cycle again. And then evening, we would always have letter time. We called it personal, I can't remember. It was personal time, but I don't remember what we called it. But we basically go sit alone somewhere, but still within eyeshot, and we would just write, letters of accountability or letters to our parents or, work on whatever we had to do. I have all my wilderness journals, too. Those are at home, though. So we just do stuff like that, and then dinner, go through all this stuff again, and then we, clean all of our pots and everything. And then we'd have time to, be at the campfire, and then we just go back to our shelters. We couldn't talk unless the staff was listening. We weren't allowed to be alone with any other, camper, I guess. Otherwise, we would have, we get warnings. And if you got enough of them, then you'd be put on, silent for however long they deemed fit. So if you got too many earshot warnings, which was, 2, then Merry Christmas, you don't get to talk until they tell you can. And then our day, they also took our boots at night so we wouldn't run away.
Okay.
Our had to be, 20 feet apart at least. We didn't have flashlights or headlamps. If you got to a certain stage, you could earn one, but no one got to that stage. No one.
Right.
We'd have to do all this stuff in the dark, set up shelters in the dark, and it was just a tarp and some string, and you had to use rocks and trees. And then you had to take your sleeping bag and the pad and everything. So if we were if we were moving campsites, they'd wake us up early, and that's how we knew. And we had to pack everything up in under 20 minutes, otherwise you got a consequence. I don't remember what they were. I think it was silence, or having to do with the staff, arms reach or something like that. I don't really remember. But so yeah, we had to pack everything up and then bring our packs. They would bring us our shoes in the morning and then take them when we were in our shelters in the evening. And then, breakfast, all this stuff, and we pack up, have to, deconstruct the fire pit so there was no trace that we were there and all this ridiculous stuff. And then we'd hike for an amount of time we didn't know to somewhere we didn't know for a distance that we never knew to somewhere else, and then we do it all again.
Did you have to chug water before these hikes as well?
We had to carry these blueies, which are those military water containers.
Okay. I had just heard from another survivor of wilderness that she had to chug a certain amount of water before the hike based on weight. That was mandatory for them not being dehydrated or something on a hike because they didn't want anyone. Yeah.
They would force us to drink water though if they weren't happy.
Right.
Oh, and if you had to go use the restroom, you had to call your name or count or make noise every 3 seconds. So, I left on March 11th, I think, and literally I called my name in the restroom at an airport.
Yeah.
It was weird. I was a little embarrassed by that. And I'm trying to think. So, if you were put on self-harm watch, or if you tried to run away, then you were within 1 foot of a staff at all times. Sleep in the staff tent, and they'd burrito you in this big tarp, so you couldn't escape. It was awful. So that was that.
Jesus. Okay, so then you get out of there, and you go home, I assume?
No. So I get out of there. My dad and I spend one night in Spokane, Washington, and then we drive through Washington and northern Idaho to Heron, Montana, which is where my school was. I remember 2 weeks before I left, I got a letter. No, they had these 2000 flip phones that they had for, I don't know why, But I had a phone call with my mom, and she told me I was going to school in Montana. And I literally, my first reaction was, where the bleep is Montana? So I found out that against my will, I was going to get to go live in Montana. Because I so many times, I don't want to, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go home. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I want. Like, this is what I need. Like, I don't need to go there. But because I'm, mentally unstable, I don't know what I need, right? Why would I?
So basically you, this is so basically you were someone with a few problems that probably needed some help. And you went into this wilderness program thinking this would help you. But instead, really, it was kind of just a supermarket for this next place.
Oh, yeah. So my program when my parents were looking at sending me there, they required that everybody who goes there had to go to wilderness. Towards the end of my stay, they changed it. But like at the beginning, I mean, they wouldn't accept you if you didn't go to wilderness.
Right. Right. Interesting.
I was sent there so I could have the emotional intelligence and the experience and understanding to be able to really embrace my next step.
Right.
Gotta get that, but that was their goal.
Okay, so you get to this place in Montana, and it's probably in the middle of nowhere, right?
Nowhere. It was dirt road. So we drove from Spokane to Sandpoint, Idaho, and then up to Clark's Fork, which is like the border town between like Idaho and like that part of Montana. So we drove to Clark's Fork, and then it's Montana. Dirt roads. I have no idea what's going on. Like, there are no houses anywhere. It's just these dirt roads. And then there's Monarch. And it's there. And I'm at this point, like, I've already been crying for an hour. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. I am not getting out of this car. So, he pulled in, and Michelle McKenna, I don't like this lady, but Michelle McKenna comes out, and she's just like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy that you're here. She is Patrick McKenna's wife. They're the owners of the school. And I'm sitting in the car, and I'm like, I'm not going to get out. Not today. Long story short, I get out. And I do my intake and everything, and I get all my clothes, and they go through my stuff and everything. And then I get sent to the lodge. So the lodge is this big building. It had a front part that was locked off from the back. And the front had, like, the offices and the clothing and, like, admin and everything. And then there was the door that was locked, so we couldn't escape. So there was, like, the med room, which was always locked. And then the lodge had, like, the computer room, Jamie Jones's office, the staff mudroom, the kitchen, dining hall, and then just, like, our general area.
Yeah.
I was crying. I was absolutely distraught when I walked into there. I have no idea what's going on. Like, I don't know what this place is, and I'm just brought in there, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? And at this point, I'm just like, who am I surrounded by? Because I had a slight idea of what this place was like, and I didn't, have the nicest connotations of the types of people that would be in there. So I'm on one hand going, oh my God, am I one of these people? And then going, I'm surrounded by these people. I don't really remember very much of that day other than that. I was very upset for a very long time.
Were you searched?
Oh, yeah. Every single thing I brought with me was gone through. I was strip searched. Every time we came back on campus from, like, a home visit, or, like, a 3-day weekend or something, we were strip searched. I had
and was the person strip searching you licensed to strip search you? Was the person who strip searched you a low level staff or a licensed therapeutic person who would
they were
be allowed to do
therapeutic people who did that to us. It was literally our night staff half the time, and they were the skeptiest people I had ever seen. So they would do that.
Right.
Like, our therapists stayed very well away from us unless they had to be in there with us.
Right.
Oh, yeah. No one was ever certified. No one ever. I mean, some people were. Like, I'll give them that. But, I mean, no one was. No one cared.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry. Anyway, so you get in there, and is there a level system in this program?
Yes. This is my favorite part. Not really. We had 6 levels, 0, step O through step 5. You started on step O, which was step orientation. It was ridiculous. Basically, like, you had to fill out all these forms and, like, meet your action plan and get approval from people to move up to the next step. And then you got, like, a new, like, step group and all these new privileges every time you moved up. And then when you got on step 5, you were eligible for graduation. But steps could be taken away from you.
Okay. So basically it's a brainwashing level system, programming operation.
Pretty much.
And are you in school? Can you give me a general idea of a day there, an average day there? I mean, depending on your level, of course.
So I'm going to outline what it was like for, like, 93% of my stay. Like, the last 6 weeks, they changed it, and I really don't remember it that well. So we went to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then we had cruise in the morning on Tuesday and group therapy Tuesday afternoon. And then we had cruise all day on Friday, but we'd sometimes have group on Friday afternoon depending on who messed up that week.
Okay.
So your step didn't indicate really that much. So, like, day to day didn't really change based on your step. Like, your step determined which level group you went to on Tuesday afternoon.
Okay.
But, I mean, step O still went to school, step 5 still did. But if you messed up really badly and were put in isolation, then you didn't get to go.
Okay.
So, like, we were on a farm, so we used our land for our firewood, and then we also had horses, chickens, geese at the very end, cows, and goats. So morning and afternoon crews, which were like firewood, feeding the animals, they were split between genders. So, like, the first week the boys would have morning crews, and then the next week the girls would. So you either got up and did crews and then went to the lodge, or you just got up and went to the lodge. And then there were breakfast and announcements, and you had to be perfectly dressed on time with your room literally perfect, otherwise you got consequence.
Okay.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was
Sounds
stupid.
it.
The highlight, though, of my stay was when, I forget the name of that Fetty Wap song, but it's like 1738. So we had dinner at 5:30 every night. And there were a couple of the guys. This is the highlight of my day every time. They would offer to read the lines to tell people what's for dinner, and they'd go, "Oh, look at that, it's 1738. That was the best part of my day. It was actually pretty funny for a while. But yeah,
it is funny.
The consequences were everywhere. If your shoes weren't lined up, if you were wearing your indoor shoes outdoors, or vice versa, if your shirt wasn't tucked in, if your belt wasn't done, if your buttons weren't done correctly, if your cubby was messy, if your backpack was out of place, if you weren't sitting right, if you didn't fold your pants the right way, if your shampoo wasn't organized the right way, then there are consequences.
And what did consequences lead to?
So if you messed up big time, you had to do something outside. So shovel gravel to fill the third of a mile long dirt road, fill those potholes. Tree stumps were the worst thing. So it's Montana, and in the winter, it's, very cold with a lot of snow. And you have to dig out a 2,000-pound or who knows what tree stump out of the ground in isolation by yourself. And if you didn't finish it the first day and it happened to snow overnight, Merry Christmas. You get to basically restart the next day. So that was called a work assignment. And work assignments are when you messed up, somewhat badly. So, I have issues, with keeping my numbers straight when I'm writing them down sometimes. And I accidentally mixed up 2 numbers when I was writing a page number for a homework assignment for my science class. And I got a work assignment because I was cheating. That's what they thought. They threatened to make me fail the class because I accidentally mixed up 2 numbers. So I had to, in isolation, shovel gravel on that 1/3 of a mile long dirt road and fill the potholes all day. But the kicker is, if I hadn't finished it that day, I would have had to have continued with it the following Sunday. So there were some kids who didn't finish it the first day, and they had that same work assignment for 5 weeks. Because if it stormed, well, there goes all of your work, and there are more potholes now. So those were work assignments, either, redoing the wooden fences or the path logs or chopping firewood or deep cleaning the kitchen or who knows what, shoveling snow.
Right.
Those are work assignments.
And
other consequences would be things like no dessert, no phone call to your parents, no free time, extra academic time. You have to do extra kitchen cleanup. Those are the low-level ones. And then if you lost your things, we had this box by the mudroom door, and during Saturday cleanup, if you got too many things, then you had to do kitchen cleanup. It was ridiculous. So those are the low-key ones that you wanted to get.
So who would you be fed during your work? Would you have water? Would you have breaks? Would you be able to sit down?
You had water.
Okay.
So I only had 1 work assignment because I worked really hard to make sure I didn't have to do more. So I had my 1 work assignment and I had a water bottle, and there was a staff out there just to make sure we didn't run away.
Right.
So I had a break for lunch, and then dinner, and that was it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This is not therapeutic. This is not therapeutic. This is slavery.
I was incredibly zen and, really connected to the outdoors. No, I'm kidding. It was pointless. But the only good part is I got to walk past the horses 95 times that day.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was... Oh, if it's raining, too bad.
Oh,
you don't
God.
Have a rain slicker, too bad. You don't get to borrow someone. You don't have rain boots, you get more consequences, but you still have to do your work assignment. It's 5 degrees and snowing. Guess what you're doing today? Shoveling snow.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Poor kids. And is this place still running?
No, it was shut down almost a year ago. They like to claim that it was because they went bankrupt, but I strongly disagree with that statement. The property's up for sale, but apparently Michelle's mom bought the property. You can find it on Zillow. It's $2 million maybe. I don't really know. So if anyone wants to buy it, please feel free. But yeah, all that stuff is for sale now, I think. It was 2 months ago.
And are any of the staff members of other places, or have they formed other places?
They haven't, from what I know. I keep decent tabs on these people. I don't really go overboard, but I know where they are. Some of them have gone to other programs.
Yeah.
And then Patrick and Michelle changed their names and phone numbers again and left the country. Patrick previously owned a facility that got shut down before he opened Monarch, so that's a fun side story.
What was that called?
Oh my goodness, it's in I don't know if you have access to the Monarch Survivor thread, but it's somewhere in there.
I don't, but I'll find out. We'll figure it out. We'll put it in.
It's somewhere there. There's this guy, oh my goodness, I cannot remember. I can tell you his name later, but I think he knows. But Patrick went to one as a kid in like the 80s, opened his own, it got shut down, and then opened another one, because why not?
Oh, God. Okay.
But a lot of the staff just went to other programs.
Right.
So, but victory, so the kids who were there when Monarch was shut down, they actually won a damages lawsuit, and all of them got money.
Good.
So they're going after, I think, maybe a very loose collective we are going after a criminal case next. I don't really know. I'm kind of doing other things at college, so I've been a little busy, but I know to think. So I talked to one of my friends the other week about it.
How long have you been out?
I graduated, which was stupid and ridiculous, on April 29th of 2017.
Okay. Wow. Recent.
Yep.
Well, it's amazing that you're awake. I couldn't talk about this, this soon out. It took me forever to figure it out.
I only talk about it in like 3 scenarios. Angry PTSD outbursts, where I have complete breakdown.
Sure.
To other survivors, and occasionally to my therapist. That's a rare occasion. Most of them don't believe me and think I make this stuff up.
Okay.
So it's usually just, angry PTSD outbursts where I'm yelling at people. One happened in the middle of Walmart when I got home. So, after I graduated, my dad and I went to Los Angeles. No, we went to San Francisco for a couple of days, and then I got home, and I had several screaming fits in the airport. And then I also had fits of just not being able to handle being out in public and having choice and not being there.
Sure.
I had those fits for a while, and then I kind of calmed down and forgot about it for a while.
Mm.
And then when it shut down, I about lost it then too. That was a challenge. So for example, I'm trying to maybe transfer colleges, and I can't fill out the application because my high school doesn't exist.
Right.
So I'm not able to fill out part of my application. So we're trying to work on that. But I still occasionally have those. Just I can't do this. And the scariest part is sometimes I will get so upset that I actually think that I want to go back. Sometimes it's I know it's wrong, but sometimes I genuinely do just want to go back. I want to be there, and it's that safety of knowing what's happening and knowing that there's nothing unpredictable from the outside, and things like that.
Sure.
So sometimes that can be a little bit of a train wreck to deal with.
I mean, it's a simulated reality that isn't reality, and then you're expected to come out of that and be able to function. And this world is very difficult.
And we have this transition program for those of us who are on track to graduate. We have 3 graduations a year: December, April, and August. I was April. And we had these transition trips, except they were highly supervised. And one of them was, we're going to a restaurant. And I'm like, how is this supposed to help me as an adult? Or, we're going to the airport. Okay. Right. So, they didn't help me at all. They actually made it worse because they purposely deprived us of the skills to be able to function as adults in the real world. I left in April, got home the first week of May, and I started my freshman year of college that August. and I had
Right.
like zero functioning skills. Like
Right.
I couldn't do it. It's awful. I almost failed my first semester because I had no idea how to do any of this. Like
Yeah.
I didn't. But yeah, that was that.
Wow. So I wanna ask you what you think a better solution would be for you.
I think, as a very large, wide, I know for me, a lot of my, problems progressed to the point that they did because there wasn't any parental involvement and there weren't people who believed me.
Right.
So I think that if there are parents or guardians, whatnot, they find themselves in a position of going, my child is a danger to themselves, is a depression or something, or, they're uncontrollable, don't send them away. That's not the correct answer. I think it's important to make sure your child knows that they have resources and adults and professionals who believe them. Like, I had people tell me that I was lying, and the fact that I had basic day-to-day functioning meant that I'm not depressed.
Right.
You don't have anxiety. You go to public school. Okay, you're right, but I don't function in public school. I sit in my classes, and I kind of fail them.
Yeah.
So it's possible to go from your home to your workplace or to your school, but not actually really function or succeed. So I think making sure that your child, or knows that there are people who believe them, that they are telling the truth, that there is a way to help them out of this. And you cannot force health and getting better, quote unquote, getting better on people. If they don't want to get better, it's not going to happen no matter how much you force on them. Like when I was in wilderness, I was not going to do this. I didn't want to. And you can't force that on anybody. You can't force change and growth like that on someone, because if they don't want to, they won't. And, I think having multiple professionals that the child has indicated that they like, I think that's really important. Because you put me with something that I don't like, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to, talk about the worst things that have happened to me if I don't like this person. So, making sure that has a variety of professionals that believe them, a variety of professionals that are not affiliated with ed consultants or other programs. That is important. And also kind of letting your child express what they think that they want or what they think that they need. Granted, depending on the place that they're in, they could be wrong. It's always possible for someone to be wrong about what they think is the right thing to do. However, don't make that decision for them. If they're telling you, this is what I think I want, or this is what I need, or this is what will help me right now, provide them with that. Don't make this decision for them because you don't know the whole story. That's why you're in this position. It's because they don't talk to you and you don't really know anything that's going on.
I agree so much. I mean, I think that, with myself, it was sort of the repeated behavior clearly means something. And, that should be examined instead of punished or silenced or, treated. There was clearly something going on, and if sending me away to torture me was the answer, then I think that there's something clearly wrong, and I feel the same about you. I just don't understand how anyone could think that this is possibly therapeutic or beneficial for a child,
Oh, okay. So my mom, I confronted her about this, and her reasoning is, I didn't know what else to do. Your dad left me. I was all alone. You were out of control. I wanted the best for you. I had no idea. I just wanted to save you. I didn't know what to do. I thought this was the thing. And, I got mad, and then I talked with her, and I said, I am angry at you because over 16 months, I told you every week, I am unhappy. This is not helping. I want to go home. I need you to help me. This is not okay. This is what's going on. Apparently, it didn't raise flags that my letters were blacked out, that parts of them were missing, that everything was edited. Like, none of this raised flags. And I pointed this all out to her, and she goes, well, I didn't know what else to do. I was just trying to save you. And I said, I asked you hundreds of times to please take me home, to please take me out of this. And my program, I mean, they straight up lied to parents about what was going on, and they straight up told parents, do not believe your child. They are going to manipulate you into going home. Do not believe what they say. Like, they straight up told my mom and dad that. So, you know, after, I think I had like a month before I was allowed to make a phone call home. I mean, she's sitting there, and she's hearing all of these things, while also having been told for a while, your child's trying to manipulate you into going home. Don't believe them. This is what's actually going on. I'm currently a sophomore at a college in South Carolina, and I'm working on a degree in social work. And when I work with parents, I work with children's disabilities, and when I work with their parents, I tell them all behavior is meaningful. There is a reason that your child is doing this. You may not like the reason. You may not be able to understand what it is, but there's a reason.
It's
and
so
I think
true.
the parents just go, like, I don't know what they're doing. So, you know, there's one child who was constantly displaying self-injurious behavior, such as headbanging. And the parents, like, I'm doing all of these, you know, classic consequence, you know, trying to change the stuff. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. I can't get him to stop. I punish him, and it doesn't work. And I told her, there is meaning behind this behavior. And, you know, lo and behold, she goes to the doctor. She has a middle ear infection, which is why he was doing that, which is why punishing him in timeouts and all this stuff didn't work. So
Right.
Parents think they can just look at whatever's going on and send them off to have it fixed. You know, you can't fix the end behavior if no one has any idea what's causing it.
I'm fully against corporal punishments in general. I think it's generally just the most wrong idea possible for any authoritarian. I think there is no means to it and no sort of justification. You're not going to get a result. You're not going to get a result. It's retarded.
I still don't understand why I had to shovel gravel for an entire day. Like, I
Right.
don't understand.
I don't understand the logic in this. I don't understand any of that. I don't understand, probably before you went to the program, I don't understand your parents grounding you. I don't understand this. There's a lot of things that lead to this. And a lot of it is just misunderstanding and lack of education, and lack of willingness to sort of understand, and have humbleness as a parent, and understand that your child is sort of, your child knows a lot about themselves, probably more than you know, and you should listen, instead of punish.
And the biggest effect, I think, that going to Wilderness and Monarch has had on me is that I no longer trust professionals. I don't trust them. I don't trust my doctor. I don't trust my dentist, because I still see them as bad people who want to take advantage of me. I don't trust therapists. And so I'm an NCAA student athlete, and this year they required mental health screening to see who needed therapy. And as I was being given this questionnaire, I'm sitting there and I go, I know what the right answer is, and I know what my answer is. Because I know that if I tell the truth about what's going on this form, I'm either going to be kicked off or I'm going to have to be redshirted because they don't want me doing this year. So, I go and I give the correct answer. So there's a huge barrier in me getting proper help, because I left that place with more problems than I had before.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's just, now I need a therapist because I have, very little ability to relate to people or handle noise or handle social settings or my classroom. But I don't trust them because I know what can happen to me if I tell the truth. Like, I know how fast it is to get me shipped off. I know there are people who can literally come kidnap me in the middle of the night. I know that my psychiatrist has the ability to mark me as whatever, and there we go. Stuff happens. So, very, very little good does come out of those places. I will admit I have a very high distress tolerance level now. Like, I am very good at handling that. What came out of that place because every day was hell. But, very few lasting positive things are going to come out of that place.
Yeah.
So.
I fully agree with you. I really want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story, and I think it's incredible that you're able to talk about it so early out. And also, I don't personally know what it's like to have the place that I went to shut down, and I think that that must be incredibly cathartic and at least something you can point to as, okay, well, even if they said it, well, I guess they blamed it on bankruptcy, but, clearly you can, at least feel some closure about that. It's not still going on.
Can I touch on that?
Yeah.
In a sense, it was, see, right now I can catch myself using program talk and using, however instead of but and stuff like that, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
But, the hardest part about that place being shut down was that I felt like I lost an integral part of my identity. Like, I didn't have a choice. Like, they made you become a completely different person when you were there. Like, I don't even know who I used to be before. I don't remember anything about who I was January 2nd of 2016 before.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any idea about who I am now because the person that they made me become as I became an adult is someone I don't like because it's not a good person. Like, it's not a real person. But, that was really challenging. I also don't have any records from when I was there. They didn't release them to me.
Right.
So, I literally have a 1.5-year gap in all of my paperwork and medical stuff. But the hardest part was realizing that I can't show people that this existed anymore. Like, I can't show people, what it looked like, what was happening, what the schedules were.
Yeah.
So that kind of created a sense of panic. Like, maybe I am actually making all this stuff. Maybe, people aren't actually going to believe me anymore because it doesn't exist when you Google it.
I never thought of it that way. I never thought of how the effect of it closing would be, because it's so much worse almost. It's so much worse because I can still point at my place. And I can still tell you that there are kids getting out who don't like what happened. They may not understand that it's the way it was, and they may not they may still be pro-program, but they didn't like being there. And at least I can point to that. You can't do that anymore.
I have a photo album full of all of those, those Kodak, portable travel cameras, disposable cameras, that's it. I have probably about 100 of those. And that's it. I have a collection of really random things that I keep in a box. I threw out a lot of that paper, the assignment and step applications and stuff, because I couldn't handle it when I left. But I've kind of settled. I've gone past the guilt of throwing that out because it was true. And now I've settled on, for some reason, I have what I have because some part of me will think this is important and values it. So I have a random collection of stuff. I have photo albums. I have a little bit of paperwork. I have my wilderness journals, my wilderness letters, just stuff like that. But Yeah.
I mean,
felt
I
like
also,
I was down, you know.
I also, like, I never thought about, like, how we identify to our program. Well, because a huge part of me is heritage, you know, and a huge part of you is Monarch now, you know, and that's gone. And so, like, that must be, like, anyway, I'm gonna end this here because, I'm doing the best I can as a survivor to interview survivors, and it's not easy for me, but I'm gonna end this here, and, I really want to thank you, Catherine, for coming on. You're incredibly brave for speaking out, and please keep going, and doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me. I try to share what happened because I know for other people it can be really hard, and I want to make sure that the stories are out there because everybody's story is important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I encourage anyone who does need a hand after listening to this or anything in general, if you need a hand, there are always people that want to hear your story.
Where would they find you? Where would they find people that want to hear your story?
If you would like to contact me, any of the listeners, please feel free. You can find me on Facebook, Cricket, like the insect, it's a nickname, and then my last name is Burkart, Burkart. Feel free to contact me, reach out, send me a message. I am a collegiate athlete in college, so it might take me a little bit of time to get back to you, but I want to hear your story. You are safe to talk to me, and I want to hear everything that you have to say, even if it doesn't make sense to you. I want to hear it. You can reach out to the Facebook group, anyone.
Yep.
Anyone
there's a lot of us out here. We all want to hear your story. We are all willing to listen, you know.
And I know Monarch School has a Facebook, like, survivor page subgroup. I don't know of any other programs. I don't know if you can speak to that, but I know
I can. There is a WASP survivors group, and there's Reddit Troubled Teens is a great sub, you know, hub, and, you know, so anyway,
if you want to report information about your school or what happened or staff, there is a website. Oh my goodness. I cannot for the life remember this. It's the HEAL, HEAL. It's online, and I actually sent in information about staff and experience story, and it gets put on their website, and they're an advocate group that tries to prevent people from being put into programs and tries to help people get out of them. What goes on. So you can always submit information about them, and it'll get published on their website anonymously.
Yeah, that's heal.org. We'll include that too in the link. I'll make sure that Marcus does that. And if you enjoyed listening to this, please like and subscribe. And thank you very much for listening. This has been another Survivor podcast on V2V podcast. Thank you. Bye.